Labor warns alarm bells should be ringing amid reports of a budget crunch in the Australian Defence Force. Let's take you live now to our political reporter, Trudy McIntosh in Canberra. Trudy, the Shadow Defence Minister has been speaking a lot about this and is really demanding an explanation from the government.
Yeah, Ash, Richard Marles taking the government to task over this report on the front page of the Financial Review, suggesting that the government is considering leasing warships as a way to alleviate a so-called budget crunch. The Finance Minister said to have told defence companies that they need to come up with innovative ways if they want to see their proposals given the green light by the government. Richard Marles is saying at a time when Australia faces one of the biggest strategic challenges since World War II that defence needs to be given the priority.
But the idea that we are now facing a budget crunch in relation to what defence needs ought to sound alarm bells across our country. Now, this is, the single biggest upgrading of our naval forces that we've seen in peacetime history, and we need an assurance from this government that they're actually going to be able to deliver it.
Still in the defence space, and the upgrade of these future submarines is $80 billion future submarine project. Naval Group, the French company who is committed to building these submarines, has yesterday told the Senate that it's committed to at least 60% of the spend being done in Australia, but it says it won't commit to putting that into any form of contractual obligation, saying they need to wait until the build begins in 2022. But for the crossbench and Centre Alliance Senator Rex Patrick, he says that's simply not good enough.
Look, I'm pleased that the French company Naval Group has made a commitment, but I'd like to see that commitment written into a contract somewhere such that it is legally binding. I've seen claims of 90%, 60%. I've seen actuals of between 30 and 40%. Now going back to 60%. This is an $80 billion program. It's a hugely expensive program, in fact, too expensive in my view.
The Prime Minister was asked more broadly about these two defence stories today and the government's commitment to having them built on time and on contract.
So yes, we've taken on ambitious projects, Chris. We've taken on big projects. I mean, the naval building program is arguably one of the biggest any country's undertaken for a country of our size. And it has its risks and it has its challenges. But I'm confident in the ability of our defence forces and our defence industry here in Australia, working with our partners to deliver the project.
Now, Ash, I've been told that Labor is expected to go after the government when it comes to this submarine project and the jobs that are expected to flow on for that in places like Adelaide today in Question Time.